What's up, Lawrence Tech? Welcome into the studio. My name is Luke Weinberger. This is Carmen Foster, and we're going to tell you all about last week's update in LTU sports.
After that, we'll check out this week's matchups and what's to come for Lawrence Tech.
First, let's take a look at the men's volleyball. The first of 3 games for the men's volleyball team started on January 26th. The number 7 Blue Devils played against Hope International, the Royals. Lawrence Tech victorious on the night, taking the match 3-1. Igor Volkov with 13 kills on the night.
Next up, we have a conference matchup doubleheader for the basketball teams from Wednesday night. First up, we have the women's team.
Hey guys, welcome in. I'm down here courtside as we're awaiting tip-off between the Indiana Tech Warriors and the Lawrence Tech Blue Devils. Indiana Tech is coming into this game highly successful and consistent, top of the WAC and ranked 24th nationally. Lawrence Tech is looking to bounce back after their game early in December, where head coach Paige Wright said they struggled a lot offensively, trying to shoot the ball and on their transition defense. She said since then they've noticeably improved, and today will be a test to that. Indiana Tech's coming in here trying to keep alive their 7-game win streak and keep that #1 spot in the WAC.
Some close action in the first quarter with Indiana Tech leading, but LTU not far behind. With 1:35 left of the first quarter, senior post Kate Jacobs banked the layup to slightly trail behind 11-9. The Blue Devils entered the second quarter down 16-9, having some troubles connecting and sinking the ball. They head into the locker room down 30-16 at halftime. The Blue Devils came into the third quarter with some fire, getting the score close again. With 6:20 left in the third, sophomore Peyton Miller drives to the net, missing the layup. However, sophomore Lachelle Moreland-Jones grabs the rebound to sink it in through traffic, putting the Blue Devils down by 8. With 5:27 left, Miller sinks a three-pointer to cut the Warriors' lead down to 5. The Warriors' momentum ramped up the final 15 minutes, scoring a total of 36 points in their late surge and ending the game with a final of 68-37. Now, let's take a look at the men's game from that night.
Here awaiting tip-off between the Indiana Tech Warriors and the Lawrence Tech Blue Devils. Indiana Tech comes into this game ranked first in the conference. Lawrence Tech is looking to bounce back after the loss last time these two matched up. Loss of 85-65. Lawrence Tech is coming off a dominant win against the University of Northern Ohio, looking to capitalize off that momentum and tonight knock this one home.
The Blue Devils came out hot to gain the early lead. In the first minute of the game, off of a pass from senior Ramon Zapador, senior Lake McIntosh set the tone early with a three-pointer to gain the early lead. Later in the half, with 3 minutes left before halftime, the ball gets worked around just before Zapador again sets up the three for this time junior Damian Thompson, giving the Blue Devils a lead of 8 with a score of 42-34. They head into halftime up 44-37. The team keeps the momentum straight out of the locker room, scoring the first bucket of the half. Again, Zapador sets up another three for senior David Walker, giving the Blue Devils a 10-point lead. With around 16.5 minutes left, McIntosh gets the steal off a great defensive play, leading to another triple, this time by junior Michael Afrikoff. Now, LTU is at its biggest lead of the game, up by 17 on the #1 team in the WAC. The Warriors attempted the comeback, but were no competition to the Blue Devils' dominant offense all night long. Lawrence Tech banked a total of 16 three-pointers throughout the game and shot 43.5% from the field to finalize the upset 86-76. Now, let's take a look at the post-game thoughts and celebrations.
Lawrence Tech with a huge win, knocking off the 13th-ranked Warriors of Indiana Tech 86-76.
I'm down on the court with the whole men's basketball team, guys. Took down the #1 seed tonight, conference rival. Tell me, how does this win feel for you guys?
Great. One word, great. Nice. It feels great. You know, we went through a slump a little bit, but couldn't be a better group of guys. You know, like we know that we just gotta keep getting better, and we go into that with that mindset every day at practice. So it feels great.
And talk a little bit more about this group of guys you guys have, the culture of the team, the grittiness. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, it's a new team. Obviously, we've got a wide variety of countries here, so you know, I describe it as a brotherhood. You know, like new guys, but instantly. You know, we developed the chemistry, and just a great team to be a part of.
Obviously, you guys got some games to play still, some conference games left. You guys are looking towards your postseason run. What does this game do for your momentum moving forward?
It's just the next step, you know. Just got to keep going into the games, you know, keep getting better, and just get W's. It's just the start of the run.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Now here's an update for the back-to-back men's games from the hockey team. The Division I team started off the day, bringing in the Warriors from Indiana Tech. Indiana Tech opened up the scoring late in the first period as they score on the breakaway, putting the puck past LTU's goaltender for the score. Indiana Tech held on to the lead for the rest of the period. From there, the Blue Devils flipped the switch. 3 second-period goals from Justin Hubenschmidt and 2 goals from Adrian Gonzalez-Marion extended the Blue Devils' lead to 3-1. Lawrence Tech added a goal in the third period. Josh Rulin scored on the power play. And that would be the final, 4-1, as the Blue Devils defeated the Warriors on home ice. Friday night's game was about more than just hockey. Before puck drop, the Lawrence Tech community paused to honor the life and legacy of Logan Barnes, a beloved teammate and friend. Family, teammates, and fans all gathered as the Blue Devils paid tribute to Logan's impact both on and off the ice in their lives. It was a powerful moment of remembrance and unity before play began. Unfortunately, Grand Valley blanked Lawrence Tech 3-0 in the game. After a scoreless first period, the Lakers broke through late in the second period on the power play. Special teams stayed big in the third for the Lakers as they made it 2-0, just under 4 minutes in, again on the man advantage. Midway through the period, Grand Valley would cap off the night with a third power play goal. Grand Valley outshot Lawrence Tech 33-30 and went 3 for 7 on the power play. Tim Young turned aside 30 shots in the loss. It was a physical game throughout, but it's Grand Valley skating away with a 3-0 win at Redford Ice Arena.
Next up, we have the women's hockey team as they hosted Adrian College Friday night for a 2-game weekend series. Senior Caitlin Morin opened up the scoring in the first period to give the Blue Devils the lead 1-0. With just 3.5 minutes left to play, her goal stands lonesome as they enter the locker room. 5 minutes into the second period, the Bulldogs scored to tie the game 1-1. Through the remaining 15, the game went scoreless, ending the second period tied. The Blue Devils came out of the locker room hot for the third period. Senior Jordan Beebus drives towards the net, finessing a nice toe drag into a backhanded shot, which would hit the goalie to set up sophomore Kalina Pernod's rebound. With 16.5 minutes to play, LTU has the 1-goal lead. With just 2 minutes left, fifth-year and captain Sophia Buckberger dekes out the defender on the 1v1 to bank the backhanded shot, extending the lead to 3-1, which would ultimately be the final. The Blue Devils spent a lot of time on the road this week, logging lots of miles in their away games. Here's the update.
LTU men's volleyball traveled to Chicago, Illinois to play at the Shannon Sports Center. They had a game on Friday and on Saturday. The Blue Devils started off their weekend on Friday with a sweep of St. Thomas. Saturday saw the first loss for the team as they dropped a straight set decision to host St. Xavier.
On Saturday, the women's basketball team hit the road in their away matchup versus Cornerstone. The game stayed tight through all 4 quarters as the Blue Devils kept the pressure on all night, causing 14 turnovers in the game. On Saturday, the men's team followed suit of the women's, traveling to Cornerstone for their matchup. The Blue Devils headed into halftime, leading the way 32-31. However, Cornerstone came out of the locker room and dominated to push away and end the game with a final of 76-64.
The Lawrence Tech men's Division I hockey team took a road trip down to Fort Wayne, Indiana to finish up their series with the Warriors of Indiana Tech. It was scoreless through the first, where Indiana Tech scored midway through the second period, ended up falling 2-1 in the game. The men's Division III team was also on the road, going out to Allendale, Michigan to take on Grand Valley for their second game of the series. The Blue Devils led twice throughout the game. Benjamin DeHaas opened up the scoring in the first, giving them a 1-0 lead. Then later in the second period, Hudson Fisher scored on the power play to make it 2-1 Lawrence Tech. But Grand Valley ended up scoring 2 goals in the third period to win it, scoring that second goal on the power play, the game winner. Lawrence Tech was outshot 24-37 as they fall 3-2 on the road. The women's team traveled southwest to finish off the series sweep of Adrian College. LTU carried momentum from the win on Friday night, beating Adrian 4-1 at Arlington Ice Center.
The men's and women's track team traveled to Saginaw for the SVSU Jets Pizza International this past weekend. Highlights of the meet are led by the distance medley relay, which broke the school record and punched its tickets to nationals. The women's 4x400 meter relay also broke the school record and currently sits at 19th in the nation. Both Anaya Simmons and Cameron Krebs broke the school record in their respective races. Clara McKay broke the freshman record for the 3,000 meter race and is now ranked second in program history.
Boy, what a busy week for the Blue Devils. Now, here's a look at this week's matchups.
Lots of traveling for Lawrence Tech this week. Up first, we have the men's volleyball team traveling to Cornerstone tonight for their WAC opener. Tomorrow night, the men's and women's basketball teams travel to Siena Heights for their conference doubleheader. Friday morning, the men's and women's tennis teams travel to Davenport to open up their seasons. The women's team heads into this match receiving votes for the NAIA Top 25. The men's volleyball team travels back to Grand Rapids Friday night to face another conference opponent in Aquinas. On Friday night, the women's hockey team also hosts Michigan State for their senior night, so make sure you come out and support. The men's D1 team also travels to Cleary for their game.
Saturday has a scheduled 9 events for the Blue Devils. The track and field teams head to Grand Valley for their alumni meet, as well as Ann Arbor for the Michigan Invitational. The women's lacrosse team starts their season on Saturday. They play host to the University of the Cumberlands, who is currently ranked 3rd in the country. The Blue Devils are ranked 8th, so it should be a great matchup. Men's and women's basketballs will host Madonna on Saturday. It's the women's senior night, so make sure you come out and support. Both men's teams for hockey are in action. The D1 team will play host to Cleary, while the D3 team will play host to Pennsylvania Western University. Sunday, there are 2 hockey games. The women's team will head over to East Lansing to take on Michigan State to complete their series. The Division III men's team will host Pennsylvania Western University for their senior night, so you need to come out and support. Thanks so much for tuning in this week to check up on all things LTU sports. I'm Luke Weinberger alongside Carmen Foster, and we've had a great time today.
Be sure to join us here next week for another edition of the LTU Sports Report, where we'll have all the game scores, updates, and stories that you don't want to miss.
Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next time.